Welcome to Art with Mrs. Cap, where we are going on a journey through the world of art and the many histories and cultures that influence it. Whether you're a kid or a kid at heart, wanting to learn more about the art world, this is the podcast for you. So join us as we journey through art with Mrs. Cap. Welcome to today's podcast. So we're going to be talking about one of my favorite periods of art. I know I say that a lot because I have a lot of favorites, but in reality, this is one of my favorites, especially of the ancient world. So we're going to be looking at ancient Rome, but more specifically, we're going to be looking at the Colosseum in ancient Rome. Now, there are a lot of Colosseums and amphitheaters in ancient civilizations, especially in anything that was controlled by ancient Rome or ancient Greece, but this is the Colosseum. So it is actually more specifically known as the Flavian Amphitheater. It is in the center of Rome, in the Roman Forum, which was basically just the ancient civic center of ancient Rome. So it was started in 70 AD by Vespasian, who used funds that were collected during the siege of Jerusalem that took place that same year to start this project. And then he passed away in 79 and his son Titus finished it. So it's credited to both Vespasian and Titus as the ones that commissioned it and built it. The inaugural games took place in either 80 or 81. What did those games look like? Well, it's a little bit different than our idea of sports and entertainment. Ancient Romans loved gory stuff. And so the entertainment would be gladiators fighting to the death or fighting exotic animals like lions, tigers, and crocodiles. And they would use it for animal hunts. These type of activities took place well into the 6th century. So it's about 500 years of these same type of activities and animal hunts and so forth. It was also used for state executions and executing religious groups that the empire deemed were a threat to the empire, such as Jews, early Christians, and so forth. So it had multi-purpose for entertainment, execution, that kind of stuff. So it's a little bit different than how we use Colosseums today. Aren't you glad? But some really cool things about this as far as engineering, they were able to create lifts or elevators to bring the animals and so forth up to the floor of the arena. They also were able to fill the bottom with water and have sea battles. There's just so many cool things that took place here. They also had a retractable roof. So they had several sections or panels of kind of like a canopy that would stretch out. And they had this pulley system that would retract it to help shield the viewers and the spectators from the blistering sun. Rome can get very hot, especially in the summertime. So it's just very much forward thinking on the part of the builders and the engineers behind all of this. As for the construction, a lot of different materials went into making such a huge structure. It's a little bit different than some of the artwork we've looked at where it's one material that was used. But obviously you can look at it and you can tell that stone was used. So the main component that I would say for this is travertine stone that was used and set without mortar for the exterior appearance. It's estimated they used over 100,000 cubic meters of travertine, which is just phenomenal. They also used 300 tons of iron clamps. But over the years, a lot of the structure has suffered from earthquakes and other things that have weathered it and really hurt the structural integrity of the structure. So a lot of work has gone into trying to help maintain it so that it's not lost for future generations. Some other things to note, it uses a combination of Doric, Ionic, and Corinthian orders. We talked in a previous episode about the Parthenon, which used the Doric order, but this uses a combination of the Doric, the Ionic, and the Corinthian. It's also believed that the arches that you see on the second and third levels framed statues or other structures that honor divinities or figures from classical mythology. So those are just kind of some important things to note. There is so much to this structure. I feel like I cannot do justice to this structure in such a short amount of time. There is so much to it, but hopefully this ignited a passion for you to go out and research a little bit more about it on your own and learn more about this beautiful and magnificent structure that is still standing after all these years. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and I look forward to having you with us again as we dive into the world of art history. We hope you enjoyed today's podcast. Be sure to subscribe and check out more episodes as we travel through the world of art and art history to have a better understanding of our own ties to the culture and history of humanity.